What is up, Cabbage Crew? It is Matt and John here talking Dragon Prince, episode 7, the Dagger of the Wolf. We're going to be breaking down scene by scene. I apologize for the background
They're
noise,
after
but
you, man. They're after you.
they're after me. Scene by scene of the episode. Just a quick little reminder to subscribe. Love you guys commenting below. We have a couple of you guys have been following us, and I don't know if you guys have subscribed, but subscribe. But you guys have been commenting at least, and you guys have been definitely hopefully enjoying our reactions on this ride so far, and been inputting I guess your experiences as well. So that's awesome. We definitely have been continuing. Actually, we straight up like it so much that we're like, we should do a reaction channel. So we're like before we were like, we'll see, but like, yeah, we definitely appreciate it. So and like I said, subscribe as well. So let's.
I don't normally beg.
Do you? I feel like you do at the end of every episode.
I'm not the one.
Oh
I'm
my
not the
god,
one to beg. But please subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell your loved ones. Tell your acquaintances. Tell your coworkers. Tell them while you're doing nothing on the job, while you're like headphones in, watching Dragon Prince reactions from us. That's what. Please subscribe. You know,
definitely. Yeah.
Just we
need
the support. We're at 101. We're in the introduction. We're in the introduction level course.
Yeah.
In college, we're in intro 101 subscribers.
Intro to review and reactions.
Intro to subscriptions.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I think my overall thoughts about this episode is I did like it. It definitely seemed like it was a I'm trying to think of the word, but like a get ready for the last two episodes. It's setting if I could, but it's setting it up. It's setting up the last two episodes and where we're going. So yeah, they're in the cave. Episode starts. They are in the cave, and Ezra's a bit sick. Which I don't know how much they're gonna go back to that or not. I don't know if that was just kind of whatever. I thought they were going to revolve the episode around him being sick for a second, just like the Blue Spirit episode from Avatar. But he was sick, and Callum was John and his mom, just kind of reflecting off of the fact that he was lost his brother, just like he was lost his mother. So that was kind of a nice scene. And I mean, yeah. Do you want to say anything about that scene, or? It was kind of a quick scene.
I mean, this is gonna just beat like a dead horse. The question mark that we both have, but I think I'm starting to get confused.
Okay.
With the family lineage. So, is it their Ezra and Callum's mom, or is it just Callum's mom?
Yeah,
because I think in this episode they're like, "Hey, are you drawing our mom or something?" I thought
I've always looked at it as, because he keeps saying stepbrother, and the elves were tasked and had the wristbands to kill Ezrin, as in he is the actual heir to the throne. Yes. So yes. I've looked at it as they're half brothers, or they're step brothers, as in they are completely different mothers, and their parents got married, right? Or completely, like Ezrin's father married Callum's mother. But why he seems like he's so close to the mom, and why he says mom, and why he says Aunt Amaya, is because the mom passed away when he was like an infant or one. So he doesn't have any, like, I say the same thing because my parents got divorced when I was like 16 months. So I've always just looked at my stepdad as literally like my father. Right. I mean, I call him by his first name, but like his brother is like Uncle Dave. You know, to me, it's like as if I have no memories without Uncle Dave being my uncle.
Right.
You know, so it's like that's kind of how I look at it. And he's only 8 or 9 years old, but he has probably no memories of his mother. And again, I could be wrong, but that's just the way I look at it. So,
So
um,
that's just Herod or Harrow's son.
how I have been looking at it is, and again, yes, definitely correct us
Please
below.
comment below,
Unless
please.
we said this last time, but let us know below because we don't want to be wrong and keep guessing. If it does matter in the sense of it's a spoiler, don't let us know. But if it doesn't really matter, then let us know how how the
Yeah.
lineage works.
Yep.
Definitely how the only reason we don't want to look it up, like the tree or anything, is because we know for a fact if we did that, it may spoil something.
Right.
You know, for all we know, the mother is a villain, and then we just like spoil something. So, I mean, seriously, I mean, like we don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't want to have that situation.
Yeah. But anyway,
Yes. So
I thought it was a good thing to bring it back.
Mhm.
Have Callum draw her. Like it's like okay, like we need to recognize who these people are, and so that we're not forgetful and whatnot, because they might be important later, like what you just said.
Yeah.
And then Rayla comes in from trying to
Yep.
find food, and she brings home moonberries that apparently makes your stomach full for a day. Which it didn't really make sense, because like berries they're a snack food. They're not filling per se unless you eat a lot of
Well,
them.
there's a magical world. So I mean, I will say she's been drinking that one small thing of
That's
juice for
true.
a week, it seems like.
Yeah.
So maybe they have some magical powers in them, which essentially, I mean, usually if you don't snort up a berry, you're not sick anymore. But they
Right.
gave. Oh, that's why he wasn't sick anymore. I was gonna say
The
they never
bogey berries.
right.
Bogey berries.
I was gonna say they never went back to him being sick, but that's why because he did that. So
Yep.
yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of things from animals to things like butterflies and moths to things like berries like have like powers slash like magic to them in this world. That's not like our world. So I would just assume that that berry is the type of berry that like makes you filled up faster, which is cool.
Going back to the previous episode, just like thought.
Hmm.
Do you think that Viren's butterflies,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
keeps the moths or whatever,
Yep, butterflies,
do
yeah.
you think this is my theory because I'm just
Hmm.
thinking, do you think they're maybe like the Sorcerer's Stone in Harry Potter, where they keep you alive if you have them,
Hmm.
but when you don't have them, like you're obviously going to die at some point, like kind of like an elixir.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, that's what I was kind of getting to as well. I was like, what if Varen, kind of going off the rails here, but what if Varen is actually part of maybe the group that started the war 1,000 years ago, and
Right, and
he's been alive due to the butterflies keeping him young,
Mhm.
and doing that. And you made a great point. Oh, they met when they were children. Fine, but you never know. Maybe he can change his appearance as well with the butterfly. Well, we don't know what the butterflies do. So for all we
Exactly. But
know,
I'm just yeah,
yeah,
right. Mhm.
yeah. No, it's a good theory. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of besides unless he's straight up like another race that we have not heard of yet or seen yet. That is another kind of a third party into this whole thing, and he's trying to essentially pin the humans and elves together.
Right.
Because it seems like Harrow was all about like, you know what, let's try this peace thing. And so it's like maybe that, and it seems like he was one that killed the dragon as well. So for all we know, maybe there's this third party involved that they have not shown us yet.
Right.
So
Cool. Yep.
yeah. So I thought there was a pretty funny scene between Claudia and Sarin to go with using the dogs to track, and the dogs ran to the river, and then like the track ended there,
Yep.
tracking ended there. I thought that was pretty funny.
I did appreciate
And
the writers telling the joke, the Soren's
mhm,
joke, falling completely flat, and then having Claudia act like us.
yes,
How would we react?
yes,
That's okay writing.
yeah. I
That
like that. That's
yeah.
them. I feel like that might be them turning a new leaf and being like, some of the jokes didn't land, and we know it.
Sure.
Maybe. because it did feel like that was kind of. I feel like that's maybe the weakest part of the series so far is that some of the jokes don't land and sometimes they rush certain things.
Because
So
it was
yeah, I
like
agree
someone
with
said something
that.
about a misstep. He said something
Yeah,
about a misstep. Yeah.
yeah. Um, so so yeah, so and instead of jumping back and forth, we'll kind of just, if you want, was just kind of stick with them for a minute there.
Hmm.
So in that kind of same sequence, they end up finding the hair that was stuck to the arrow of Raylo, which we do see them actually, which I really like.
I liked
Is
it.
I think from episode 3 when they run away
Hmm.
from the lodge, because at this point they're essentially at the lodge, and they shot and missed and hit her braid, and it gets
Hmm.
stuck to the tree. And now they find that, and I thought that was really, really good of thinking ahead that the series did, and they made it a point of being like, and it's funny because when it happened, I was like, they kind of made that a point, so maybe that will come back, and then just kind of forgot about it 3 episodes later.
Hmm.
So, I liked how they did that.
I agree.
I liked how Claudia was
It's kind
like,
of funny how they just used like a used shirt
yeah,
of Callum's of like this is his training gear. He's always in the mud, isn't he? And
I
I
liked
was
how
just like,
she was like, Claudia was like, we're gonna get that evil elf. Nice braid though. I was like, I appreciate that.
right.
That was pretty funny. Um, yeah, so the group goes to a village, um, because they are trying to find out what's going on with this egg that we saw last episode. At this point, we don't know what's happening. We assume is dying due to the fact that it was in the water, cold water.
Mhm.
So Rayla does that little impersonation. I'm a human thing. Puts on the glove. You know, kind of again reminds me of all the different Avatar episodes of them having
Mhm.
Aang impersonate somebody, and they throw little jokes in there.
I literally wrote it down the deserter episode when they go into the town,
Hmm.
the village,
The
the
deserter
final.
episode.
Yep.
You have Omashu when they
Mhm.
go to Omashu for the first time. You even have the headband episode.
Mhm.
She flips over the thing like the head. I mean, there's a lot of parallels there.
Yep.
Them making jokes that she has 4 fingers, so she grabs a mitten and like, just don't shake anyone's hand because the one mitten piece is falling.
Yep.
Her trying to speak like a human. I loved what I forgot, I didn't write it down, but she says something along the lines of like, I love war and taxes or something. I was like, that is awesome. She says something like that. Like, I love a hard day's work, war and taxes. And I was like, this is beautiful. um, so, so yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciated that whole sequence for the most part. I mean, yeah, I thought that was all pretty good.
Hmm. No, I mean, you nailed that one on the head. I think that whole transformation scene was good, and they're trying to figure out an egg, find the egg, and and it's like they go and find some guy who has the sun forged dagger,
Hmm.
um, who's fighting, and they don't know until he pulls it out, but
Hmm.
they see a guy in the middle of the square, and then in the town, and then they ask to see like who wants to fight me, and it's like and more Avatar references, like it's every episode with the
Yeah.
boulder and the
It
one guy.
it kind of reminded me of the episode you kind of mentioned a second ago, the
Yeah.
deserter,
Yes.
where they see this guy, and then the whole, she's under disguise, and they're watching something, and then she's like, "Well, we gotta jump in because
Hmm.
we gotta get that knife," and so it's like that was kind of a cool, um, again, a good sequence.
Yeah.
I like how they explained it. It was a sunforged blade because they put magic on it while it's getting forged, so it's that level of heat all the time, which is
Yep.
using sun magic or sun primal magic, I guess you could say. I don't know.
Right.
We're probably messing up how to actually say it, but the primal source of magic was sun, and I think it was
Hmm.
the sun elves that forged it.
Yep.
So just like there's moon elves, so that's again more background lore of other primal magic. I wonder if much like Avatar and other magical worlds, it's kind of broken down into different areas. Like, are the sun elves living different, like in a different area than the moon elves? Like there's a map, and we kind of know the map is just like the right side elves, the left side humans. and then there's essentially the mountain on the top that kind of splits it.
Right.
And I wonder if we're going to see kind of more of the map of how all it looks. Like, I don't even know where we're at on the map, hypothetically.
Well, we also know that there's 5 kingdoms, so we do know that there's actually some division somewhere of how all that's divided. So
yeah, but yeah, I thought that was really cool. And then they kind of, I guess we'll just again go 2 paths here. So we're just at this point we're going to follow Rayla. So she confronts this man and essentially.
Well, I was going to say they decide to split up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they decided to split up, which makes sense. Rayla's trying to get this knife so she can, or the blade, so she can break the wristband, and then kill him.
The assassin's binding.
Yes, and Callum and Ezra are going to go try and find a doctor or someone that can take a look at the egg. So, Rayla confronts him. He kind of seems like kind of a like coward, like. It didn't seem like he was a warrior. It's almost like he found this out, which they could come back to it, but it's almost like he found this thing and he's just been like propping up, like, oh, I can win any battle because he knows he can just go through a normal blade. So, but then he like loses it. He's like, hurt me. It's like you're a whip.
Now that you mention it, and I'm doing parallels.
Yeah,
that guy reminded me. I'm not saying twin-like or like exactly the same, but I'm saying similarly enough to the guy that Iroh helps in the Tale of Iroh, where he's trying to attack him with a dagger, and he has that bad stance. And like,
I see it.
In a way, I'm not saying it's like this.
No, I see it. He kind of just reminds me of, I wouldn't say a generic, but he kind of reminds me of the idea of like someone that's kind of a wimp that thinks they're hot shit because they found this cool weapon and 100%. They're not. And again, it almost makes you think, how did he get the weapon? And maybe they'll eventually bring that up. But it's like, did he steal it from a sun? Because it's a sun elf. So it's like, did he steal it from a sun elf? Did he kill a sun elf? So it's like, that's an interesting. I feel like they they like showed that almost on purpose. Like, I feel like this guy's gonna come back around. It's not like some guy with a cool elven blade. It's like, well, how did he even get it?
Right.
So I thought that was interesting. And then she uses it to try to cut the wristband, and it doesn't work. Which kind of just confirms that this thing's magic is just so powerful that, and at this point, it's like you see the purple kind of going down her arm.
Yeah.
So it's really starting to like get like hurt her fast. And last episode we saw her not even be able to hold the egg, so it's like really hurting her. Yeah. So she's at a point now where she she's kind of facing reality with it. Going back to Ezrin and Callum, they go find a pet doctor or an animal doctor. Santa Claus. I do really like the scene when they walk in and he's like, I can't help that creature. And they're like, no, he's fine. Like, this is just our toad. I love that. Yep. And he's just sitting there like, I do like that. I mean, do you have any thoughts about that doctor and the fact that they, really like told him and they broke down the story of it being a dragon egg? At first they tried to not.
It's one of those things where it's kind of plot convenience a little bit.
Okay.
Because they trust him too quickly, personally. Like I get it, he's a vet, like veterinarian. But I get it. And there's no real other person to trust. But it just seemed rushed. Just a little bit, I guess. Because he definitely could have been like a Sato in Legend of Korra, where like you can trust him, but then he's gonna stab you in the back. Like being like a wise fatherly figure, just like stabbing you in the back. And I actually thought that might have been the case here. And it might be. Who knows? I don't know.
I was gonna say I almost have. I think that he could potentially tell Soren and Claudia when they catch up. Oh yeah, we found this man. He's up there now. Like he's up at that mountain. If there is going to be a confrontation between Claudia and Soren catching up to
Mm-hmm.
Ezra and the trio, the three kids.
Yep.
Then I think maybe they go to this city. Sorry about the background noise. I think they go to the city and maybe they run into this man. I mean, the whole city at this point knows, or the whole town knows about them now. So I don't know if that matters. But I corner of my mind, I was like, maybe this guy betrays them, or maybe this guy isn't as trustworthy. But it seemed like he's just maybe this nice doctor. I don't know.
Right. And on the surface, I do want to trust him.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just hesitant because of how fast it all went.
Yeah.
But anyway,
well, I will say they tried to do the whole my friends thing, my friends.
Yeah, I mean,
egg. My friends.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was trying to get into. I was trying to say like Jophus, the Jophus story, or
Yeah,
whatever. Like it was kid funny, right? Like it was fine. But I will say that having them tell the story, like he just gasps right after finding out that the egg's inside the backpack, and and then we you get the breakdown of the egg and how he can't really help it. Like he says there's a heartbeat, but it's going to die. There is one solution to this that might help you, but it is a dangerous path to follow. And that is the cursed caldera.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how they go to this girl to learn the story, and it's like, how did she get up there so easily?
For like an 8-year-old.
Right. Like that's why I was immediately thought of that. I was like, they're making this thing so like as if it was like this haunted place.
Yeah.
And it would have almost been better off if it was like this creature and was like, my human took me up here and he died on the way up, but he was able to save me.
Right.
Or something like that. Because it's like, how are they going to be that? I mean, like, we've already seen, like, I mean, for the most part, Callum and Rayla are both, like, pretty, not powerful, but, like, to the sense where they're pretty powerful. One's, like, an assassin elf. The other one kind of sort of knows enough magic with the stone to be able, you know what I mean? To be able to hold their own.
Sure.
So, it's like,
I mean,
the 8-year-old girl can go up there.
Callum's more of still a beginner, but
that's what I'm saying. I guess what I'm saying is, if an 8-year-old girl with no powers was able to get up there, and 2 years ago, like it just for me, it just doesn't. They try to make it into this like dangerous thing, and it's like I would have been more intrigued if it was like we had someone go up there and die, but the thing saved him, or the creature was able to get healed and go back and save him, or a warrior went up there and lost his leg and now he's telling the story, and you're like, oh wow, and like I'm a little 6-year-old girl and I went up there and I came down fine. It's like, oh, dun dun dun. It's like, okay, I guess we're gonna go too. It's really dangerous. Oh, I'm sure it is, little 4-year-old girl. Like I mean, she looked like she was 10 and they said 2 years ago. So it's like, okay, like you mean if we just tell Ezra to go up there, he should be pretty fine.
Right.
So it is what it is. We'll see how that ends up. Maybe there's more to it.
Because there's a blizzard going on too, right? Like there was like a. Is that true?
Yeah, well, it was snow. I think in her story there it was a blizzard too, because this is just a snowy mountain.
Right.
So it seemed like, I mean, the dog was trapped and he was in it. It seemed like across the board.
Ava's the wolf name.
Yes, Ava. Which so yeah, I mean, that again, it's one of those things where it's like, I just wish they did it something a tad different to make it a little bit more impactful for me as an audience member.
No, I
understand what they were trying to do, and it worked. It worked in the sense of if it was just an older man that lost his leg up there, like it would have been all right, awesome. Like there's these creatures, and he's like, yeah, me and my brother went up there. My brother died, and I lost my leg. And it's like, ooh, they're about to get into an adventure. Right. Instead, it's like, 4-year-old girl, 6-year-old girl. Yeah, say my wolf. I got up there, like, she's like, I went up the cave, and I was like, You already have to know the story's already almost over. Like I thought it was gonna be this like long story about her getting up the cave.
Right.
So,
And
even at the end of the episode when they're running away, they're like, "The mountain will get them," and it's like,
yeah,
is that what you said to
sure.
the 6-year-old girl? But yes. So, what about you? Where did it impact you? Did that story impact you? Did you feel it was there, or
It
what?
impacted me in the sense of like we actually know that there's a healer, like there's somebody up there or some, and it looks like it looks like some kind of elf, like one of the elves.
Yes.
That's from the shadowy figure in the outline.
Yeah.
So there's that, but like, did it impact me? I mean, it was just a cliche story where a young kid finds a hurt animal in the woods, brings it home, takes care of it, expects to keep it forever, and and then the dad's like, we already have so many more mouths to feed, and then young kids like, but only for a few more weeks. We need to make sure it heals right. It's just a very old cliche thing. Does it work? Sure. It's like what you just sure it does, but it's just there was nothing new brought into it.
It was very like basic storytelling.
It was basic storytelling,
and because they threw the little girl in there in the sense of it was so easy for her to fix it, it just didn't feel impactful to me. That's all. It really is. I mean, like you said, there's some what looks like some elvish healer up there, and now they have to go to him. Cool. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, or her at the beginning of this episode, or at the beginning of our review, I said this kind of felt like it was like a precursor / like let's get ready episode for the last two finale, like the part finale. Maybe it's two different episodes, but this just felt like this almost felt like if you're playing a video game, the village you go to heal up and learn your last mission, and that's kind of how that felt like. So I mean that's kind of where I'm at with that part. Now let's go back to Claudia and Soren. They go through a cave to find what looks like I guess butterfly. I don't know what they are really.
I called it lantern bug.
Okay. And I was a bit confused about the lantern bugs, and maybe they didn't explain it. But is that what are they? We don't know yet.
They're just part of the ritual spell for the
a
tracking spell.
Okay,
that's all they're known for. And
and so there's a tracking spell they're going to be doing.
Yeah, and Claudia's like, yeah, and all we have to do is climb up the tallest mountain in Trotolis.
Yeah,
and it's just like, and Soren's like,
yeah. So I feel like there's going to be a confrontation at the end of maybe the finale, whatever, of them catching up to him.
I was going to say, do you think Cursed Caldera is the tallest point in Trotolis? Is it? I don't know. I don't know if it's in Trotolis. I don't know.
I mean, I'm assuming because they that's where they said they're going to have to go.
About the meetup.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it's a tracking spell, so they now know where they're at, which is there, and they're going to now meet up with them. And I'm assuming maybe the end of the next episode is when they find them, and then we go into the finale with them trying to, they're going to have a decision to make. Maybe they tell them, like, hey, like they as in Callum and crew tell them, as in Claudia and Soren, like, hey, we found the egg. It's actually not dying. My prediction is that them two, Claudia and Callum, are going to find the trio. They're going to have a confrontation in maybe the finale, whatever.
Wait. Who's going to find who?
Claudia
and Soren.
And Soren are going to find the trio. And there's going to be a small confrontation, whatever. They're going to be able to heal the egg. The egg is going to become the dragon. And now we have the Dragon Prince at the end of the first season. And that is going to turn the two kids. That's going to turn Soren and Claudia. Like, they're going to now join them. And moving forward, we're going to actually now have a group of 5 plus 2 animals, which will be the dragon.
Not a bad guess.
That's my prediction, because everyone's been saying how great of characters those two are, and Claudia is a fan favorite. So it would make more sense if, okay, they start off as not necessarily villains, but kind of confused on what their mission's supposed to be. And then by the end of the first season, they're like, all right, we're joining now. and then we go into season 2 with the rest of the adventure. That's my prediction. I don't know. We'll continue. We'll see the last 2 episodes. I'm sure, we're going to be doing a breakdown of the entire first season, and we're going to kind of do predictions as well from there. But yeah, I mean, the episode ends with essentially the man with the forged blade find out she's an elf. Rayla's an elf, tells the rest of the humans. They kind of run away from the village, and they run up the mountain. I mean, that's the end of the episode. Like I said, it felt like it was definitely we're at this point, and we need to get to this point. We need to build up the last 2 episodes. I mean, now we have a mission to do. I mean, really, the mission at the end of the day is we gotta save this egg. So that's kind of where we're at.
Right.
The wristband. I think they're going to resolve that by the end of the first season too. So we'll see. Maybe Claudia takes it off.
Claudia takes what off?
The wristband off. That's their, hey, we're going to join you guys. We believe in this elf, and we're going to take off the wristband.
Yeah. Good idea. I like it.
Sorry, I did a lot of talking there. I mean, do you have anything to add to the last scene or so with the cave and kind of the whole kind of climax of the episode of them running off to the mountain?
I live vicariously through you.
Oh.
So no, I have nothing else to say.
Okay, beautiful. Well, yeah, I mean, so far, I like this episode a lot. I think that this episode, I think it's just kind of, again, putting the pieces together to get to where we need to be at for the finale. So I like this episode.
This is great. I just love where the show's going.
Yeah.
Even if some things are not hitting, like the plot's there.
Mm-hmm.
Character development is there.
The plots and the characters.
Yeah, and that's the key.
And the world building.
In the world building, those 3 things are the key to keep a show together.
Yeah.
Like the dialogue, like some of the dialogue is hit or miss, but it's not like a total miss.
It's like scene to scene. Like some scenes are written kind of poorly, but it doesn't carry over.
Right. So, love where this is heading into in the final 2 episodes. So, looking forward to it, and can't wait to do the big review on season 1 of the Dragon Prince.
Yeah, no, well said. I mean, I'm the same way. It's like nothing about this show. The 3 big things that matter are hitting, which is world, like you said, world building, the actual characters themselves, and the plot, the main plot of the actual show. I think the thing that's kind of missing to me is scene to scenes. There are some bad writing. Some of the jokes have been missing. I will say this episode, pretty much across the board, any joke that tried to landed. I mean, there might have been 1 or 2 I missed, but there was none that stuck out. I think the writing can get a little better. Again, scene to scene. It's not like I'm leaving an episode and I'm like, wow, that whole episode was poorly written. It will be like a well-written episode, and then there'll be like one sequence where I'm like, that could have been done a little bit better. Right. But yeah, overall, I'm excited. Like you said, I'm excited about where we're going. So definitely.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we are at the end of the podcast review for today. Podcast review. We don't know what we are at this point, but we're at the end of the review. Definitely, again, subscribe to us. Comment below also. Let's go ahead. We talked about, we were going to say this before, but let's say this. Season 1 overall, we have not been loving the jokes, right? Let us know below, because we are curious. This isn't a spoiler, but do you feel as though as the series goes on, the jokes get a little bit more mature / better in the sense of it's starting to, they don't take you out of the season? Did you guys feel the same? Season 1's jokes aren't that good. Now, as you guys are watching it, going into season 7, the jokes are starting to land more, and it's getting a little better when it comes to the actual writing of the jokes? Or is this something that we just have to kind of deal with for the rest of the series, which is fine? But let us know. And then again, comment that and then subscribe.
Please subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors. I already did this in the beginning, so no need to.
Tell your family. Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors. Tell your coworkers. Tell him what's got him straight. Doesn't really matter at this point. He probably has a phone, so. See ya.